All right, we're here. We're live. Episode 30. We got some friends in the house. We have Matt and Kate Jones.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Lead pastors from Citymark Church.
Yes, sir.
Right here in, is it Webster or League City?
League City.
It's considered League City?
Right downtown League City.
Yeah, so I will go back before we get started. So I guess when you first started at that church, we were there for like a Christmas or something.
I think it was Christmas.
And then fast forward a couple years, and then we're at CrossFit one day.
Yep.
And we talked and stuff like that. Then I was like, man, I know that guy from somewhere. And then they posted you, like they reshared your Instagram story. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, dude, that's freaking Matt. I was like,
and like, what? He's a pastor? What?
Yeah. no, but I was like, I was racking my brain how I knew you, or I felt like I knew you, or I've seen you before. So. Yes, we met through there, man. It's been a good ride so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even know you were even there. That was when I was just moved to Texas.
That was fresh.
Because we were like trying out different churches, trying to figure out what to go, and then one of our friends were telling us about it, so we went and tried it. Then next thing you know, stuff blew up over there, So we were like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I get
smart.
it. Very smart.
On your
But. It's all good now.
It's awesome.
It's all good now. It's all yes. It was definitely a war zone.
How long y'all been here now?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Almost 4.
Yeah,
December will be 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
December 2020 is when we first got here.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
In the middle of COVID, just a great time to move.
It's good.
It was wonderful.
Cross country.
Oh yeah.
But
Because you came from Cincinnati, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Cincinnati. And so, we didn't even know we were supposed to be Texan. I mean, we had a Texan edge to us. People always say we got here as soon as we could, kind of thing about Texas.
Welcome to freedom. We tell people.
Yeah, exactly. And but man, we love being here. At first, we just because we were going to plant in Dallas.
Okay.
And the Lord knew we were not Dallas people at all.
No Cowboys fans.
Nobody likes Cowboys.
No.
God doesn't like the Cowboys.
Absolutely, you can see.
I'm going to save you from that.
Yeah. And so she started having dreams actually about where we were supposed. We knew we were supposed to be in Texas, but why don't you tell them about the dreams you had?
Yeah, so we came and we visited the area and just loved the small town feel, But way before we even knew we were coming to Texas, I don't know why you put me on the spot like that, but yeah,
it's happily ever banter, and you've got a banter.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not all freaky into prophetic dreams and all that. I think it's cool and everything, but I didn't think it meant anything. Like I was just like, that's cool. So I just kept having dreams that the road was water. And I was like, that's cool. I just thought it meant, because sometimes in scripture, the water, the Holy Spirit can be, symbolized through water. And I was like, well, I just think it means that wherever we go on our journey, God's going to be with us, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun adventure, And I had no idea that where we were going to end up was going to be like where there was a lot of water, and in Harvey the roads did turn to water. And
really.
Yeah, we thought that was kind of a cool connection. So we're like.
You're on the coast, too.
Yeah, because we were like, oh, roadways, waterways, that's not Dallas. But whatever. And then when she said Harvey, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a sign that we're supposed to be Houstonians. And so, so I've definitely seen the hand. Like at first, when you come to Houston, the grittiness, at first, you're just kind of like,
yeah.
But now, man, I love every little dirty square inch of Houston.
Yeah,
it's not that dirty.
Oh, it is.
It's dirty.
Parts.
So we came here from Louisiana 8.5 years ago too. So like I said, we're not original Texans either. So
we love it here. We wouldn't go back.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I love Texas.
Yeah,
I love this area. This area's been great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we love it. The people are down to earth, and we both grew up in small towns. It feels like a small town, even though it's right outside of Houston. And I just like the people are just real, gritty.
Oh yeah.
Down to earth and not uptight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's us. Like we fit in, so
That's awesome.
we feel right at home.
Yeah, when I met Matt, I was like, dude, he's just a bro. Like he was a dude, man. I was like, yeah, I would have never known you were from wherever. I just
Yeah. No, yeah.
That's in the past.
Yeah.
We're Texans now. So
that's right.
I got y'all's cowboy boots though.
Yes.
I've
real cowboy
I got
boots?
some area
Yeah.
cowboy
Good.
boots. Someone gave them to me.
Someone
Nice.
gifted us some cowboy boots.
Awesome.
Right when we got here.
Yeah,
You gotta have that.
Yes.
You got to do that. You got to go to Houston Rodeo.
Yes.
Yep, did that.
Oh, y'all did that? Okay,
Yep.
that's a
Couple
cool
things you gotta
experience.
do.
We got that in.
Yep.
Went to Buc-ee's.
Yes.
Did the whole Buc-ee's experience.
It's crazy how many people love Buc-ee's just in general. Like when
It's
they're
great.
It's crazy though.
Yeah. It's
I mean, you
grown-up
can't
candy
get
store.
stuck in there forever though. I
Yeah.
mean, like just looking at everything, not just the candy and food. Just
Yeah.
all the other accessories.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then like now they're putting Buc-ee's other places. And
Yes.
I'm like, no, it's
I know.
ours.
I
You
know.
can't
Oh, it's
have
all.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. Get out of here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Don't take our Buc-ee's.
Don't
No.
take our Buc-ee's.
No.
You have to
We're
live
in
here.
Nashville.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I know.
So how did let's go back to y'all's story.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together?
20 years.
Yep.
Okay, so
See, I know all this.
I know.
I
See,
know all
I-
the
I-
facts.
Okay.
I do too.
he is too. I'm like, okay,
I'm a numbers
Every
guy. I know everything.
anniversary, I'm like, how long? When did we meet? How long have we been married? He remembers. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't care. I just can't remember.
She'll remember. I remember all that.
we've been together 22 years.
Yeah,
right.
22 years. We've
And we'll
married.
be
We'll be married 17 this year.
yeah, 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about y'all? How long have you been married?
18 years.
Okay.
Okay.
18
Yeah.
years.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one up us. I get it.
We got you by one.
Yeah.
So how did
We're
y'all
an
meet?
Funny. We both got our degree in film.
Oh, in film?
Yeah.
Shout out to Magnus
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out. But I just always wanted to be in ministry, and I actually was working on a documentary in Africa about the AIDS pandemic, and worked on that for a few months right before I graduated college, and just wanted to pursue film, and somehow just for God's glory, I just wanted to. So anyway, one of my friends that was on the trip, her dad was a Christian filmmaker, and he was making a film, and she said, "Why don't you come work on it? It'll be a great experience for you before you graduate." And met Matt. He was also working on the film.
Yeah. So I got my degree in film, actually. So
Did
I
y'all
didn't.
meet in Africa or you met?
We met in Atlanta. So
Okay.
so the director of this really cheesy Christian film.
Very cheesy. If you want to look it up,
I
Black
mean,
Oasis.
insane.
We're both in it.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna
Yeah.
check it out.
It is ridiculous.
What's it called?
It is Black Oasis.
Black Oasis.
It's-
Okay.
yeah.
You want to laugh? It's
Okay.
Yes.
so
I'm
funny.
gonna check it out.
It's very.
He's like a smoker. He's like, "Hey girl."
Yeah.
I'm like this rebellious.
Yeah.
Like I have like a lip piercing. And my hair is like black,
Yep.
and I'm just like this rebellious girl. It's awesome.
It was the beginning of emo phase. MySpace
Oh,
was.
yeah.
That was
Right.
me. I was right in the thick of it. Yep.
And so I was this guy. He had basically made millions. I don't know how, but he lived in right outside Atlanta in this massive $5 million estate, and he was writing this film, and he needed help. And one of my buddies was friends with him. He's like, "Hey, come up and work on this film with me." And I'm like, "Okay." We pull up to this like tricked out mansion.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Live in my house and write the
wow.
script with me, and let's film this." And so, his daughter was with Kate in Africa. And so Kate flew in, and he said another weird prophetic thing. He was like, "Hey, your future wife is flying in today." And I'm like,
That's
You're like,
wild.
hold on. And he said it because she's from Ohio as well.
Oh, okay.
So just as a joke, like, "Hey, she's from Ohio. That's your future wife." Well, when she came in, I spit mad game.
You rizzed her up.
It was the Risley Bear, and we just we really again now we know it's like the Lord, but we were like obsessed with each other like
Yeah.
immediately.
I mean, like day 2, we're like, "You're the one."
Yeah.
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 And so we worked on the film together, and
We actually grew up 2 hours away from each other in Ohio, like, and then we just happened to meet like
That's crazy.
by
Yeah.
these crazy circumstances. So, yeah, so we had a lot in common because we kind of grew up in the same area. But yeah, like, I mean, it was just, it was meant to be. So, yeah, never
Yes.
looked back.
That's cool.
yeah.
That's crazy. You're gonna meet your future wife.
Oh,
You're like, dude.
blew my mind. Yeah. And the first night we met, one of her classic lines is I was pushing her on a swing, and I was at the height of Riz City, okay? And she said, "Will you follow me around the rest of my life and make me laugh?" And
As you're swinging her, oh,
it was
swing me higher.
Dude,
Again,
is this in the movie?
this is no.
Okay.
Movie of our life.
Yeah.
He threw a cigarette out. Yeah.
It was an American Spirit cigarette, by the way.
Oh, Magnus found
You
it.
pulled it up.
He's got it.
I'm gonna watch
Yeah,
this tomorrow.
I'm in there.
There he
There I
is.
am. I'm smoking.
Oh my gosh.
I'm smoking. Oh, I pulled it on my lap.
Come here, girl. Look at that.
Dude. We're gonna patch that in. We're gonna
I bet you
patch
can't
that in
find
on
me.
the reel.
We're watching that tonight.
Yeah.
I bet
Please
you can't
don't.
find me.
It's
It's
it hurts.
embarrassing.
It hurts. But
But it's great material now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just look back
Just
and make
look
fun
back
of.
and say,
I mean, Sean's love story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's Kate. Yeah, she's she's like
Oh my god.
LaBrae piercing. Where's she at? Judgmental Christian girl. Hold on.
was
Oh,
my
she's
role.
smoking. There's Kate.
Oh man.
Black hair, like crazy.
It's so embarrassing.
But yeah, well, I mean, we went from there to I was writing music random. We were going to go on Broadway.
We wanted
were
to be in New York. We wanted
Yeah.
to like
Okay.
so
make
I
movies, and that was our dream.
yeah. So I was living in downtown New York. I was writing music for Broadway and working at Independent Film Channel, and she was storing up money. We were about to live in the city, and that we were just going to be bohemians. And I got a call from my pastor who's in Cincinnati. So that's kind of how we got linked up with that church in Cincinnati
Was it
before we
Seven
came
Hill-
here. Seven Hills Church, yeah.
Okay.
And so we were with them for 15 years. And
Wow.
she took over all the film and creative, so she led all the creative in the church, and I took over youth. And
So y'all
You
came
know.
straight from there to here, from Seven Hills.
yep,
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So we were at Seven Hills for 15 years, built the church from 200 to 5,000. We were pretty much second in command there, and we knew we were going to senior pastor. We just didn't know when, and we just felt like like when it's almost like when a train reaches a destination, and you're like, okay, I've gone as far as I can go here. And for some people, it's like anyone else would look at the situation that we were in and say, oh, you guys have it made. We have the perfect school. My parents live 45 seconds away. My dad, I had hired to be a part of the academic dean of the college. I mean, it was perfect. But I don't know. God stirred us. And so we just felt like, well, what's next? And so my pastor was like, start praying about a city, and that's when Texas came up.
Wow.
So,
It's a big move.
Yeah.
Because to leave a huge church to this, you move down here, it's super small. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to grow eventually, but
yeah. I mean, you come in. Yeah, you were coming. I mean, literally, you came in to
Yeah.
fix the church instead of planning
Oh, yeah.
a new church, right?
Right.
Yeah,
That's
but
kinda
I
how-
mean, that's just kind of what we do. We're builders.
Okay.
And I honestly think we were bored.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
It's
We
done.
needed
You're
yeah,
like, this thing was already.
It's done. It's good. We need to go build something else.
we need a challenge.
Yeah.
We needed a challenge. And weirdly, because, our daughter, Georgia, she had cancer in the womb 3 years before we decided to leave. We probably would have stepped out sooner. But we had to walk through, cancer for 3 years. So,
Yeah.
So she's your youngest. You got 3 kids, right? You have
Yeah.
2 boys and a girl.
Yep.
What are their ages?
13.
do you remember, Mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Miles is 13, Judah's 11, and Georgia just 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, walking through all that prepared us. I think we weren't ready to senior pastor until we walked through, because when you see your daughter on a ventilator,
Yeah.
right? What's hard or what's bad in life melts away. So your reference point for pain is a whole nother stratosphere. So taking over a church with problems was
Right. Yeah.
patty cake
Yeah.
compared to what
You're actually dealing with.
what we had to walk through.
Yep. Yeah, I think that whole experience with her, 3 years of just believing that she was going to make it, many encounters where she probably wouldn't have made it, praying and believing. Our church backed us up and was there for us, prayed for her. I mean, there's a whole army praying for her. And I think that whole experience just increased our faith. And, after that, it's like, God, whatever you want, my life belongs to you. Our story, her story is powerful. Use it, use it for your glory, and lead us wherever you want us to go. And you walk through something like that, you can't just sit still. You know what I mean? You got to go. You got to you got to go after it. And so.
Yeah, and it's, I guess what I would call like an anointing, like, oh, I want to have a powerful life, but, right, I guess, the anointing, the oil that comes from an olive, the olive has to be crushed in order to get the oil, which is power. And everybody's like, oh, well, I want a meaningful life, I want a powerful life, but in order to have your life be powerful, there has to be like a crushing that takes place. And it's like, okay, Lord, I want you to use me, but don't crush me. But then God's like, well, do you want your life to be powerful or not?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, I want it to be powerful. And God's like, okay, well, trust me as he's crushing you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I don't, please, no. But God uses that. Actually, like, pastoring the church, like, my power of my preaching does not come from the mountaintop, right? It comes from when we first brought Georgia home. I'm so overwhelmed. They've got these bags of, like, she's got a G-tube, and a nurse had to be at our house every day from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Wow.
And I remember they were all coming in. It was her first day. Georgia had pneumonia when we first took her home. And I literally remember sitting in that chair like, I actually can't think or move. And I fell asleep because it just felt like somebody kicking your face in over and over again. You're like, I'm dead. Stop kicking me. That's where I preach from. Like, people are like, oh, that was powerful. That's, it's very odd how God uses us, and so.
Well, you hear a lot of people like that. Some people turn away from faith versus going after it when tough things happen. They question God, and you hear that all the time. You hear it in church. We hear that in sermons and things like that.
Yeah.
It can do one or two things to you.
Oh yeah.
It can either make you, like you said, y'all kind of went head in, or you can run from it and deny it, thinking that why, you hear that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think it strengthened our family, made our marriage stronger for sure. And you have a choice when you face things in life. You can go one or two ways, and you can trust that God is who He says He is, that He will redeem everything that's been lost. He will heal you. He will. He's got your future. He can empower you. He can strengthen you if you either believe that. That's what the Bible says, or you deny that. And so a lot of times we're faced with that crossroads, and we have to just, what am I going to do? Lay down and die?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to lean into the truth of what God's word says.
Yeah, I heard a preacher once say, when you're down to nothing, God's up to something.
Right.
And it's so true. Like,
it's like the greatest blessing, honestly. Like, when you're crushed, when you face those difficult times, it can actually be the greatest blessing. Like, the Bible, you probably heard this, what the enemy means for evil, God means for your good.
Yeah.
And it's just true. And it only becomes true until it happens.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is evil. This is actual evil. And then to realize God's goodness in it, and to believe and have faith that, I don't need to be. We used to say this whenever we thought we were going to lose her a couple of times, like, well, Lord, you love her more than we ever could. And we tangibly actually had to put her life into His hands, and trust Him. And even if she did die, it's like, are you going to leave God? Do you love God for His blessings, or do you love Him for who He is?
Yeah.
And you never know, right?
Yeah.
Until you face it.
Yeah.
So
no, that's
it
crazy.
it was definitely, what do they call it? A trial, a test,
So how was that on y'all's marriage? Like people have kids with special needs and things like that. They talk about how much stress that puts on marriages.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you guys?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, we're perfect. I definitely put a strain on our marriage. We're opposite. Like, he's more of a, I guess, hypochondriac, like who you are.
We have friends like that.
So, like,
everything's cancer. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yep.
So, like, that was a huge thing for him to go through, so it was actually cool because we balanced each other out. I'm more like, you're fine. Like, you know, if one of my kids gets hurt, I'm like, are you bleeding? You're fine. You know, is your arm broken? You'll make it. You know what I mean? Like, that's more my style. So we were opposite in her care, you know, but so we definitely butted heads a few times. But I don't know how we made it through. My mom and dad would come down, and my mom's a nurse, so she would take care of Georgia every other weekend, and we actually dated more during that time than, you know, because we had to be so intentional to take care of our marriage. And I mean, that's what my mom said. She's like, you gotta invest in each other. And so she would care for Georgia, and then we would just spend time together and get a break. And so I think that was a huge part of it.
Yeah, we just kind of went in the foxhole together, and like that's the thing. Like I think that makes for our marriage being good. Like we're kind of like bunker buddies. Like we're somebody that you're married to is like, yeah, you love them, you whatever, but you have to be able to fight together.
Yeah, and win some battles.
So like we're both like fighters. We're both like scrappers. So
I'm the tough one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right.
I try to be tough.
No, she thinks she's so tough, especially in her car in Houston. I'm like, dude, you're gonna get shot. Like, stop. What are you gonna do?
Throwing out the year number one to everybody.
She's yelling and stuff. I'm like, what
terrible.
are you gonna do?
I know.
You gotta calm down.
I'm the same.
Like picking up being at Kinsey in high school and picking her up now, that parking lot is crazy. I'm about to tell her to start walking to the neighborhood.
She said she was starting to get out of the car today to fight a high school kid. I'm like, what are you doing?
I did. Kinsey was holding me back from the seat. Oh, please don't. I'm like, I need to let him know that I'm not a kid and I'm an adult. And they're like, oh, I'm clearly think they know that you're an adult. I'm like, I don't know. I was still in my workout gear.
Can't take that Louisiana out of the girl.
No, dude.
No.
Oh my God. It was just they pull out the parking lot so fast and they're like not watching. It was just crazy. And I'm like,
it's a war zone out there.
It is.
It is.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I would say like what was harder in our marriage was 2 kids under 2. Rather than walking through that, like, because like Georgia gave us like a focal point together to like team up, and like it required us to be a team. You just never know. Like it's fight or flight, and we're both fighters, so we just both fought for her, and that's, I don't know. It did bring us together more than it pulled us apart.
We kind of clung together, but you know, we worked together like. You know, when we went to Seven Hills, we were like the first ones there, and it was a mess, and those were some hard years.
Oh yeah,
you know, and so we worked together there, and so I think we've been through some things before that made us strong, I guess.
It's like, God's always having us fight.
Yeah,
so I'm sick of it. You know?
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of prepared y'all for coming out here and be lead pastors of a church.
Piece of cake.
Because I was wondering, like that could be something too when you're both leaders of a church, how that could affect. I mean, because you're with each other at home.
Yeah.
And then you're working on stuff.
Oh man.
And then you're talking about church stuff, about your own personal stuff. I mean, sure, it's a lot. You know, I'm sure it can get a lot.
Oh yeah. There's several times we'll be backstage like wanting to like destroy each other. Oh man,
let's be there.
That happens to a lot of couples. You know what I'm saying? When you fighting, you know, then you come back,
Then you walk to a party like, oh, hey.
And he tries to hold my hand or something like that. I really don't want to freaking hold your hand.
But 40s is really cool because you just don't have any energy to fight anymore. It's like 20s, you have all this like energy to fight. 40, you're like, are you good? You fine? Right.
This is annoying. Let's just get over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so much energy to fight.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
No, she's got it still.
Oh.
That's all right. So do I.
Yeah, so that's what I was kind of curious about that. But I guess hearing your story leading up to that, because that was a question I had about the church thing, you know, how that would work. But I guess y'all were prepped over the years to be able to lead a church.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, like what was different about taking over the church, at least for me, and she can speak for herself, is like when you're a pastor that's like, I don't know, a youth pastor or executive pastor, or not like the main pastor, it's different because every room you walk into as a senior pastor, people are looking to you for something, right? It's your staff is there, and rightfully so, right? That no one's knows. So you walk into the room and you're like, you can feel like, right? You have to be kind of like, in a sense,
you're on. Yeah.
Then you come off stage, you're used to being off. right? Because you're youth pastor or whatever, but then no, you're not off, you're on. And then you go in the lobby and you're on. And so the drain of that was a whole nother level for me at least.
I'm sure after a Sunday, it's a lot.
Oh,
so
yeah.
did y'all lose some of your leaders and stuff when y'all took over?
Oh, yeah.
Or did y'all? Okay, y'all did. Okay.
Oh,
I didn't know
yeah.
if y'all
Well-
cleared out and like started fresh or.
Yeah.
We were just too nice.
Okay.
We were like, let's give everyone a chance.
Okay.
You know, and then
And it's really hard because everyone that even came to the church, they didn't come for you,
yeah.
right? You didn't baptize their grandpa, right? You weren't the one that preached the sermon that got someone got saved under. So like you're a weird stepdad and stepmom, right?
Yeah.
They're like you when you're preaching, it's not like everyone's like, "Yay." They're like,
They're kinda
"Who
like,
are you?"
Who are you?
So you feel like you're preaching to a jury at first. And again,
Yeah.
people can't help it. They don't mean anything by it.
It's human nature.
Yeah, it's like change is a 4-letter word. So, but I knew because when we took over with our pastor in Cincinnati, and I knew that we could, if we just were consistent and showed people, hey, we're here to love, even though it's like a cat, you're trying to hold it, scratching you in the face, and you're like, I love you for real, stop scratching me. I really do love you. I really believe that God's called us here. And so now we're on the other side of that.
That's awesome.
And it just took time. And my pastor said, I remember, I'll never forget it. It's like the church was better. Everything in every way was better. And like a lot of, for me, like behind the scenes stuff, like the inner workings were way better. And people started leaving the church. And I was talking with my pastor and I'm like, man, what's going on? Everything's better, but why are people leaving? He's like, number one, if you could have them back and have it the way it was, is that what you want? I'm like, no. He's like, well, that's really important. Mm-hmm. He's like, but number two, some people just hold on. And once they were holding on through the fight, and once they felt like it was going to be okay,
Like, okay, we can.
they felt released to step away.
Yeah, they got closure.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what's wrong with me? But again, my pastor said, they're all going to leave. Most people are going to leave,
Yeah.
but it's okay because they're like attracts like, right? Like who you are is different than who the previous pastor
Right.
was. And so yeah, yeah, but there's no getting around it. It's just,
I think a lot of people were really hurt.
Oh, yeah.
So we came
Yeah.
into an environment where people felt very betrayed and hurt. And even though we're like, let's go, or we're fighters. We're like very motivated. We had to come into this environment and slow down.
oh yeah,
And just be really loving and really patient with a group of people that were hurting, and just be consistent and available and present and loving. We're still those things, but we had to just kind of wait for people to heal and for things to shake out, and but now it's go time. So
That's awesome.
I know.
So y'all that little area that you're in, do y'all have space to grow?
oh yeah,
Yeah, they
Okay.
bought more of that.
Oh, y'all-
So yeah, so
okay.
we right now we lease 40% of the strip center that we're in.
Okay.
So it's about 40,000 square foot. And so yeah, our goal is to have all of it. And so because parking lot's done,
Yep.
Yeah.
right?
Infrastructure's there.
It's all there.
I know.
I know that sounds small, but just to do a parking lot, people don't realize this kind of stuff. If you were to describe any random piece of property, whatever, for us, we have 21 acres off Highway 3, and to build it up, it's $6 million just for dirt.
Yeah.
Because of Harvey, the restrictions and the way that drainage works.
gotta build high.
You got to build it up real high, and then it's like, oh, hey, imagine preaching, hey guys, we need $6 million for dirt.
Yeah.
Right? It's rather than, hey, why don't we just look around and just say, what do we really need? We need seats. We need parking. It's here. It's done. It's off 518 and Highway 3. it's you know,
it's easy to get in and out of too. So that makes it nice.
So I'm like, you know, it's when we first pulled up, we saw the strip center. We're like, nope, nope.
Right by a Goodwill. Awesome.
No, yeah, there was some ratty mattress because Goodwill people just drop off stuff.
Oh yeah, for like several months there would just be junk. Just because it's Goodwill, we're like, oh my gosh, Goodwill left, and then now that's our space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we were like,
It
no.
was a lot of fun.
But you know, we've turned it around a little bit.
Yeah.
So good. And we'll continue to turn it around.
We've got beautiful plans that are
we do
going to be going into motion soon.
Yeah, we're starting a $6 million renovation project, and it's going to be beautiful. 900 seats, and so that'll be done by Easter 2025.
Nice.
So yeah, and then our current space will be all youth and kids, and right, so it's all connected. So it's going to be beautiful.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So we're really excited.
That was a big change from y'all's church in Cincinnati, though. I'm sure it was a super nice place.
Oh yeah.
But we saw it through the whole thing, so we know.
Yeah.
Oh,
because y'all built that one too. Okay,
yeah. So we were there in the ghetto days when it was just right. I call it pioneer days. Most people in ministry are just like, they walk into something that's already been done, and they don't know what it took to do it. But we had the privilege of walking through the pioneer days where it's like you're just scraping things out of the ground from nothing. So so here we knew we were accustomed to it, right? So pioneer days.
And we see a vision for what it can be and what it will be. So
yeah. And again, we're builders. Like our number one, what we love to do is we love to see talent in people, right? And see their gifts and then have them use those gifts. Like if I would say that what our passion is, we love that.
Yeah. And the next generation, because we were children's pastors, youth pastors, and you just can't shake that, you know? So we just believe in the next generation, and our church will always value the next generation and value students and college and,
Yeah, just seeing the gifts in a 17-year-old and saying, hey, you're a preacher. Hey, you're a worship leader. Hey, you have a gift to speak on stage, or you have a gift to make people laugh, or you're an influencer or whatever. Just because we saw it so many times. I mean, all the pastors that are in Cincinnati that are just like killers right now. I mean, like thousands of people in their ministry were 13-year-olds in our youth ministry. We're like, you have a gift on your life. And so that's one weird gift that we have, is to see the value in young people. And so like most of our staff is 20 that we called when they were 17. All right. And they're just unbelievable at ministry.
So that little crew that you bring CrossFit, are they all connected in the ministry?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. They're all running our kids ministry, running our youth ministry, doing something in worship or whatever. And that's honestly, I try to get all of them like memberships at CrossFit just so I can have meetings there.
Yeah. You're like, while we're here.
Yeah, because I'm not an office guy. I like being out in my truck, on the phone, go to the gym. So yeah.
So how was it for the kids moving to Texas? How'd they do with it?
Yeah, they were pumped. They were so excited.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they loved it. I mean, we moved at an age where they were
still young.
Kind of young, not super attached to anyone. I think Miles was starting to get into friends, but we got here in the nick of time because they were just really young.
Yeah, elementary.
Yeah.
So usually by that, they say by middle school or something, you want to.
Oh yeah.
Be moved and settled,
Yeah. So they've got all their core friends here.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. They were. It was in the middle of COVID too, so it was that online school junk.
Yeah, everything was weird anyway. So
oh
it was
gosh, I hated it.
But yeah, they turned into Texans real quick, real quick. So they love it. They don't know any different.
Yeah.
Now.
You had crazy restrictions up in Ohio?
Same as here.
Okay.
Same as here.
Okay.
Yeah, this was probably a little bit more lenient. But we were in Kentucky, so we had Governor Beshear, so he was a little bit more strict the guidelines. And so, but yeah, man, we were nervous, but the kids, they just immediately.
They hated wearing the mask to school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Oh, and I remember because I was like anti-mask at the church, and somebody we got 2 1-star reviews on the church like the first month I was there, because they were like, this pastor says he loves people, but he's not wearing a mask. And I was like, I'm not doing it.
Oh man, I remember our first Sunday there, no one was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And I don't care, but I'm thinking, if I'm gonna get COVID, it's gonna be right now. Everyone's hugging you and shaking your hand. I'm like, this is it.
This is it. Yeah.
But I
loved it. I loved how people were more relaxed.
So I had to go to a youth camp, and I wasn't gonna get the vax, but I got it. And she judged me hard, okay? Because I'm like, I'm going to be on a ventilator. I'm just going to get it. I'm going to get the first round. And she's like Miss USA, I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
You're going to drag me to jail.
Yeah.
No, I've actually prayed that you don't die from the vaccine.
See? Now she's stoking my freaking hypochondriac stuff.
Who was right?
I know. She's Miss America. She's like...
Well, so did you end up catching COVID?
Yeah, I think so. I never tested.
I got it, and I went through it like a champ without a vaccine. I survived it, and I'm like, I have antibodies.
Yeah.
Same.
I know.
We both got it. Got it. We both had it, but our kids never had it.
Did you get the poke? Did you get the jab?
Anti, baby.
See,
I'm team Kate.
Yes.
Okay, hold up.
Exactly.
I only got 2. I got the first. You had to get 2 shots.
Yes,
That's all I got.
Okay, good.
So no boosters for me. I'm done.
But usually they say those first 2 boosters are bad.
Oh, really? Great. Well,
I mean, I heard you coughing there. Maybe want to get a booster. Make sure.
I got a blood clot right here. It's gonna. But. Yeah,
but y'all are doing great things, so that's not going to be why you pass away.
I don't know about that.
I
don't know about that.
There's worse things than COVID out there.
Yeah.
I know what was so nasty about it is that my favorite ones were the Vera Bradley ones, and so I don't even know when's the last time I washed those things. I'm like, just think how nasty that was.
Full of makeup.
Full of makeup, because I was like,
disgusting.
I know.
Yeah.
Terrible. And then come to find out you weren't wearing the right ones unless you had, which were they? The N.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The N95.
Yes, if you were wearing those, and it was pointless even wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't agree with it. I mean, we had to go with it. It was scary at first. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
When it first was happening, everybody was kind of like,
oh yeah, especially walking
man.
in grocery stores just shopping. It was just weird.
Yeah.
You got this weird feeling.
We wiped off all of our groceries with
oh really?
oh yeah, every bag we had
a
Magnus was rolling his eyes.
We had a neighbor that went shopping, and he called his wife and was like, I'm gonna have to put all the groceries back and go re-shopping because this old lady that was in front of him started helping them bag. Remember Kevin?
Yeah.
And she started coughing and hacking, and she was like, "I swear she had COVID."
Yeah.
So he went and returned all the groceries back and re-shopped, and then would put the groceries outside and wipe them all down.
People crazy. It made people so crazy. Remember, it was Easter, and we hadn't moved here yet, and his mom and dad lived down the road, and we were celebrating Easter, but his mom and dad stayed out in the street.
Yeah, so we're like,
and they waved from a distance.
Some of our friends would carry the little sanitizers in their pocket, and if we would hang out, we'd have to squirt. You remember they would go around squirting our hands?
Yeah.
It was a weird time.
It was a weird time.
I want to go in a time machine and beat myself up for some of the things I did
We had to do.
during that time.
I know.
And I deserve it.
The worst was those plastic bag hug things.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
That was so
God. And the people that still wear a mask alone in their car, it's just we need to stop. I'm just going to stop people. I've made a decision. I'm confronting everyone that is wearing a mask in a car driving alone.
Yes,
I'm sick of it.
Remember we never understood that. We're like, maybe they're Uber or Lyft drivers. I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
I can't stand it.
I know.
Yeah, that was a
time.
weird time.
Yeah, what a perfect time to just take over a church, right?
Yeah,
COVID.
I mean, like I said, it wasn't enough craziness going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you come in.
Yeah. Just throw it all on. Throw all the craziness in at once.
Yeah.
Get it over with,
It actually did help because it was like a distraction because it was like, this is crazy, but COVID's crazy and
It's fine.
No one was going to church anyway, so it actually was kind of good. It helped us in a way. But
We just kind of slipped in.
yeah,
Hey!
like, are you the? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do y'all? So being lead pastors of a church, got kids in school. So how do y'all balance your? Y'all did intentional dating. You said a lot when your daughter was going through stuff with your mom helping out. So how do y'all do that now? Is that something y'all still do quite a bit, or?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, just moving here, and it really bonded our family. Like, we don't really have to try too hard to have family time because, we didn't really have anybody, right? Like, we came here, didn't know anybody, kids didn't know anybody, so we just, like, really spent a lot of time together. And I think even to this day, like, we kind of prefer to be with our kids and with our family, like, it's just... What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely, we were in an apartment when we first got here. So we were like, oh, we're going to get a house within 3 months. And then the house prices kept going up, up, up. And we're like, and we just, it's going to fall.
We were nice and cozy together.
And so we were just in this little apartment together. And
Those
so,
are the best years though,
yeah. And so we just, and it's not that we don't like want friends or whatever, but yeah, we were just like,
we stuck together, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, you're still figuring it out. New state, new church, new everything.
Yeah. I mean, I would say our marriage is the best that it has ever been in the history of us knowing each other.
Yeah.
And I think again, a lot of that has to do with going through so much and then coming out on the other end like, man, we really are strong, man. So like enjoying these days. Like I remember my pastor told me one time, he's like, you will have on the other side of this, we talked about Georgia, and now on the other side of taking over the church and turning it, he's like, you will so appreciate days that don't involve cancer or some crazy thing happening in the church. So your appreciation for life and marriage and each other, and because you just know that it's not forever. Right. And so like, I don't know, like I feel like we love each other more deeply than before because of that. The richness of that is just deep. So
yeah, like I can't do this without you, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, we're kind of like, we've been through so many battles, it's like, well, I can't really do it without you, so better figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
So how are the kids adjusted to being like the pastor's kids? You always hear things about how's that for them.
They're definitely like, I feel like they've got eyes on them all the time, and they're, kind of held to a standard, certain standard, I think they're doing great. Like
we don't push the church on them a lot.
Yeah.
We're not like, you have to be at every service. Really for us, it's like, you can be there if you want to be.
Yeah.
And we never, even though I do believe that some, all of our kids, if they want, can be in the ministry if they want. But a lot of pastors like say that over their kids, like, you're going to be a pastor someday. And I think that it locks them out of.
That's a lot of pressure too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, if you want to be one, great. If you don't, and we're really like, we're really like real with the kids a lot. I think a lot of pastors like have this society, like you told me, you're a regular guy. And like our kids, like they almost want swear jars for Kate and I.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't say that. You're a pastor, right? Whatever.
Nobody's perfect, okay?
But they're like correcting us, whatever.
You can't say that.
And we'll just write. Like the boys will watch Mortal Kombat, and Georgia will just be in the room watch. I'm like, oh well, yeah. Learning
I
about.
guess we just keep it real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're not putting pressure on them. Like if you don't want to go to church, you don't have to. I would like for you to, but we're not like pushing it on them, and we're not holding them to this crazy standard. And we laugh a lot, we joke a lot.
Yep.
We just are real with them, and I don't want them to feel that they've got to be something.
Well, that'd make them more adjusted instead of being like they feel like they got to sit in the front row at a suit and tie on.
That's it.
To where
because they learn to act.
Right.
They become professional actors rather than your kids.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like that was always been a fear of mine, because I'm like, oh man, this stereotype of pastors' kids, what's going to happen with them? And I've just been trusting the Lord, as we go. And what's cool to me is like we never put pressure on them, but they want to be there. You know what I mean? They want to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. They want to lead. They want to, my boys, they write scripts and skits they do all the production.
Yeah, kids ministry stuff. Yeah, videos, everything.
They just want to be there. And I never told them. We never said, you have to do this. You've got to be. They want to. And so it's like, whoa, what a blessing. Like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
It's happening, so that's cool.
And that's another thing, like, one thing we did learn, like, in Cincinnati, too, is allowing them to choose a mentor in their life that's not us. Mm-hmm. That's like we have a lot of young men and women that are at the church now, and, a lot of really cool, like, 20-year-old guys, and it's like, I'm like, Miles, so he talks to them and rides in the car with them, and that helps a lot, too, balance out, like...
Yeah, they get some road time with another influential person they can see.
Right.
That's not their dad or their mom. That's
they can talk to. Yeah.
And Kate's really good at like thinking about each one. Like, hey, you need to go away with I have the privilege of I have a lot of friends around the nation that I'll preach for, and so we just kind of made a decision. Hey, every time you go by yourself to preach, Seattle. Atlanta, all these places, I just said, we're going to do a rotation. I'm going to take a kid with me. And what's cool is, like, as you guys know, like when you have them individually, they're a completely different kid.
Yeah.
All right. And so we're seeing a new city together, and we're right.
And you're a foodie. You get good.
Oh man. Yeah. But then the boys will just stay back with Kate, and I'll just take Georgia or, whatever.
We'll just take turns with each kid. And yeah. And
that's just been a really cool dynamic
I think like the most important thing for me is that our kids are our friends, like our friendship with them is so important. And, I'll do whatever it takes to make sure we have a good relationship. Mm-hmm.
So Georgia, did she have any setbacks from being? Yeah.
Miraculously, not a lot.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I will never get over this. You have to fill out like a form for your kid for like school or this, and there's always all those medical questions like, what medications do they need,
right.
what all these things, and she has none. Like every time I just say none. I'm like, thank you God. I can't believe that she walked out of that thing unscathed.
Wow.
She's got a little bit of oral. Like she has speech therapy, and she's probably gonna have to have surgery, for her teeth and stuff. But she's so tough, there's been times where, as she's grown up, like at the playground, kids will be like, "What's wrong with your face?" or "Why does your mouth look like that?" Or "What's this?" She's got a scar from her trach, and she's so proud of it. And the boys, they were always her number one advocate and helping her, helping her be strong. We've always told her from the beginning that, you are so special and you are a rock star. You survived this thing. God healed you. The first words I ever taught her was, Georgia, who healed your whole body? She says, Jesus healed my whole body.
Yeah.
So she believes that, and she knows that God was with her and God healed her. And so for her, it's a testimony. It's any opportunity she gets, even at a young age, if someone would question, what is that? She would say her whole story. She's so proud of her story.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah.
And that they told us too, like even child psychologists were like, hey, don't be quiet about, hey, we need to be quiet about what her fate or whatever. Just say, hey, and so whenever she meets people, she's like, tell them about.
She loves to tell people her
story. So middle school is going to be another journey but God's taking care of us thus far with that, and
it's been good. So.
And Texan kids are pretty polite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like seriously, like I mean, some are or whatever, but they are very like thus far.
Yeah.
Yep.
Polite.
Yeah, but her personality really aids to all that because she's very outgoing, really spunky, really wild. She just
sounds like Matt.
Oh yeah.
She's got a little raging Cajun in her. She's like,
Yes.
I mean, she's definitely.
She's not going to get pushed around, and she's loved by. I mean, she goes into a place and has friends instantly. So I'm not worried about her. She's doing great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was curious about that. I didn't know. You know, you never know what kind of setbacks they can have because of.
Yeah,
especially if it goes in the womb.
Oh yeah.
That's wild.
Yep.
Yeah, and they said like in the womb everything develops like a microwave, and on the if they're born premature, Georgia was born like 10 weeks premature, and they said it takes like a crock pot for everything to develop, like years and years. Mm-hmm. So, you know, so her teeth were like totally not touching, just her back molars. And so I just took her to the orthodontist, and now all of her teeth are so it's like everything's kind of coming down. Yeah. And it just takes time. And I'm like, well, should we do this? Should we do that? And the plastic surgeon was like, everything will probably just go into place. He's like, we don't know what her adult, face and teeth and gonna do. So we might not have to do anything. I was like, okay.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You're expecting bad news. You're expecting I gotta do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so to hear that it could all like, we don't have to do anything is like astonishing. So
how do y'all decide who preaches on Sunday? Y'all do rock, paper, scissors or something? Or?
Yeah, I mean, usually because like I just have way more like responsibilities like at home and kids and stuff, so it's usually like we usually divide and conquer, like, but every once in a while I just want to keep that muscle strong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if I don't use it, I'll lose it. So it's more so like, okay, I got to get in there and practice.
Are y'all the only
like
two that speak, or y'all have others that speak?
No, we've got
y'all
okay. Yeah, we have others that
it's
speak.
like come back to work after a long vacation. You're like, man, I forgot how to do my job.
Yes,
like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like I guess what the term would be soft complementarian. So like we believe in our like some people are really hardcore about like women aren't allowed to speak and all that kind of thing. But like the theology behind like what I believe about it is that the church should have male headship and women can do anything in the church, preach, teach, prophesy, speak, anything under male headship, kind of like a home.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, there's got to be a person that has a final say, right? So that's my role in the church. And if I'm the father of Citymark, she's the mother. And so it's kind of like saying, well, when people say, well, women need to be silent, it's like, well, obviously,
Magnus always says that.
Obviously in a home, like they're gonna So and anyway, there's a whole theological, but she will, and
I mean, just like in your home, isn't your voice important?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So Crystal's not being silent, right?
No,
and and like that's kind of what I believe. So it's not like every weekend, but I definitely want her to have a voice in the church. And again, she leads like. How many small group women's leaders do you have? Like 50 or something like that? Mm-hmm. Maybe more. Mm-hmm. She's led 300 women through a Bible study. And so she does a lot of leadership development with a lot of women in our church. And so she's a lot of behind the scenes, like I would say secret sauce behind the church.
How different is y'all's styles?
Oh man, I don't know.
Kate's definitely, I mean, she can take full authority, right? She's a little bit more like, when she gets into it, like I'm saying from my perspective, when she starts to preach, you feel like, oh my gosh, power, right?
Yeah.
Like when she speaks, I'm more like going to tell a joke, and I can go there.
Yeah.
But Kate's definitely going to bring the authority.
We got to have somebody there serious. So,
exactly.
Do y'all practice your speeches?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you talk outside or something?
Yeah, I mean, maybe him not so much, but just because I don't do it very much, I definitely go over it a lot, Yeah.
She goes over. I'm more like, I need limited. Like, it's funny how, like, it's not that I don't prepare. I normally have like, this is the scripture I'm going to do. This is where I'm headed. I need some stories in there, and just leave them all floating, and I'll connect them all. Yeah. But I don't need every word. Mm-hmm. Right. So
you got your method. I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah. Like you would probably be a preacher like me. Like just you don't want every single.
Like I learned from a Dale Carnegie class because like I would do presentations for our work, and I do all that stuff. I do all the public speaking stuff. So it wasn't until I learned that I went to that Dale Carnegie. It's like a 10-week course of public speaking.
Yeah.
It's like I just need to have a couple buzzwords written down.
Yep.
And then I know. Boom.
That's
boom,
it.
boom, because I like to. I'm a fly off seat of my pants kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't prepare anything. I just go.
Same.
But you got to be able to have that wit,
Yeah.
and you got to be able to carry that conversation with, because if not, it can.
Yeah.
Oh,
Awkward silence
dude.
is not
I
good in
remember,
the church.
I remember when I took speech classes in high school, like I would practice in front of the mirror over and over, like word for word.
Yeah, dude, I will go into some of my biggest meetings with customers, and we don't even have a plan.
Oh yeah.
Me and my best friend I work with, we're going there, and I'm like, I don't prepare anything. I'm like, we're just going to go. I'm like, we're just going to talk to these people like human beings and figure it out. Get them talking. That helps us to get.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I learned. I was like, it works for me. I was like, I don't recommend that for a lot of people, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I would mess up if I had to write it all out and think about it. Like, it just wasn't.
Or just,
My mind will work like that.
Oh yeah.
and my preaching, I work off of the people in the room. So like if I have a script, in fact, if I'm too scripted, then I start to feel like I'm losing the room. Like, so like you can plan all you want, but you don't know who's going to show up at the 8:30, who's going to show up at the 10, because you think like when you're preaching, each service is going to be the exact same.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And they're not.
Yeah.
So like some joke that worked.
It's like comedians talk about. They go, you don't know what the room's going to be like.
It's so
And
hard.
you could bomb in one room, do the same joke next room, and it kills. Like, it's the same kind of.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. And and especially in church when there's guests. Like if there's a lot of guests, like people think Easter's like really big and everyone's excited about Easter. No. Everyone's like
they don't
silent.
know how to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, there's a lot of non-church goers like for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're sizing you up, and they're and-
Can I laugh? Like like they're used to Catholic.
See, I'm the guy laughing out loud to every joke that any preacher like.
Yeah.
'Cause I find everything funny. So I'm like, when they say something, I catch all those little jokes.
Oh yeah.
I
Exactly.
laugh the whole time. I love it.
But it's but if I have a script, I feel I can't interact with the room, so I'm like, no, I can't do this. You know, so
Yeah.
but
So what would y'all do if you like? So if you weren't pastors, church, what do you think? Like, what would be your job?
Filmmakers, right?
probably.
Yeah.
We'd
Black
probably
Oasis 4 be out by now.
Hey, maybe so. or y'all would be Broadway, right?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
I was
don't
yeah,
know.
my
Thank
big
God we don't do that.
Oh, I know. Like, well, because like when I was in New York, I thought it was the great, and I did. I lived downtown. I was writing Broadway music.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Cool experience.
It was cool. I think God wanted to show it to me because there's a lot of people that live in the city just to say I live in New York, not that they're doing well, not that they're right, because like that, especially that job, right? Writing a show. I went to see some of the people that I really followed, like producers and stuff like that on Broadway. And I went to some of their shows, and I remember watching the producers, watching the actors walk away after doing a performance. And I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, I bet they're really worried about what their next thing is. Like, they've got something, which is a miracle in itself, but then to get the next thing.
They don't have a pipeline. It's hard to build that, I'm sure.
So I'm like, do I really want this life? And New York is
And it's
just
cutthroat business.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, and then you're always answering to a suit. You're always, and it's just like, I don't know. It was like in the ministry, we could just do anything creative that we could think of. And so, but yeah, no, I think we'd probably be in New York, probably.
Yeah.
We've never
It's
been
hard
to
to
New
know.
York.
No, never been.
I always say I
Oh,
want to
really?
go around the holidays, like they say, like after Thanksgiving or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
To go.
Christmas time. Yeah. New York is great to visit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, not to live. And that's what God showed me. I've never been more depressed in my life than when I lived in New York City. Because no one cares about you. No one, the culture of New York is get out of my way.
Yeah.
You're not even considered.
Everybody's fast paced, getting to their next thing, kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So even though there's so many people, you're incredibly lonely. Incredibly lonely. And that's where I was like, do I really want to raise kids? Because I wanted kids and stuff. And so we were just like, nah.
Yeah, like even like that experience when we made that film, the people we worked with, you know, it's like, how do you have a family and do this? You know what I mean? Like, how do you're just kind of like a roadie, like a, carny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not to be, yeah, they were
I mean,
kind of
not
like
to be,
carnies.
but
Yeah.
like, this just wasn't a fit for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Just,
So.
yeah, I'm going to be on this show for 2 weeks and I'm going to, Ellen, and I'm going to go. Right. And it's just very like that. And there's no consistency. And I was like, I don't really want that life.
Yeah, it'd be tough to plan a or to build a life around that.
Yeah.
When you could,
Yeah.
like the writer's strike, what that did to a ton of people.
Oh.
I mean, for
Yeah.
a long time,
Yeah.
that affected a lot of things.
Oh man, and living now, seeing what New York is like now, to imagine living in the city now, no way.
Yeah,
We have our brother-in-law's brother. He lives. He actually.
Yeah, brother-in-law Nick.
I can't remember what he does. What does
He works
do?
at that. Well, he does. He used to do like he was big into drama and stuff like that. But he actually works at that big,
It's a
that
bookstore.
big library, that big popular library.
Okay. Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
city. I don't remember the name of it, but that's what he does.
Yeah, he's been there, golly, since he graduated.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
been. He's Danielle's age. That's been
Long time.
a long time, over 20 years.
But God knew we were supposed to be here
Yeah.
with the mills.
That's it, man.
Texans.
Texans, God knew.
Yeah.
God knew. You know, and so I'm glad I'm not there. I'm, again, I'll go visit, eat pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Houston food scene, man?
Oh man,
It's great stuff, huh?
listen to me.
Too good.
Too good.
Too good. Too good. We gained a lot of weight when we moved here.
We gained 30 pounds, and like El Tiempo, Papacitos. What else? Sunflower Cafe.
Oh, in Galveston.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Galveston, yeah.
Phenomenal.
They got good breakfast there.
Hillstone, best French dip in the city, off Kirby.
Okay.
Very good.
I know there's so many good places just here
Yeah.
in Houston. So
Yeah.
it's
Houston's the most eclectic food scene, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Here's the only thing: Houston beats everything
Except pizza.
except
I know you
pizza.
talked about that before.
Pizza. I'm like, the only thing was Nano's. You guys go to Nano's
No,
yet?
I told her you talked about that
so
place.
good.
Nano's, and I did like via
Oh,
313.
yeah, that was good.
That place
Very
is
good.
Oh, what? Yeah.
You guys have to go to Nano's. It's like old school. They've got like
That's what
Pizza Hut lights. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's one you told me about. I need to go check
Yeah.
that. I told you about that one.
Super thin, like they're cut in squares, like little
Pinball
squares.
machines, like old school video games. It's so fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, we were blown. Again, it's a whole nother level of food. Like when we came down, I'm like, dude,
Yeah, and we probably season better than
Tex-Mex
with
so
y'all
good.
because y'all up north. Y'all don't
Oh,
really season.
yeah.
it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
It's not
stupid.
even close. It's not even the same like planet.
Yeah.
All right, like not even close from where we come from.
Yeah.
And there's so much diversity in Houston. That's why the food
Yeah.
scene's so good.
Yes.
All the
Oh, yeah.
fusion stuff
Exactly.
and there's-
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
There's a bunch of white people in Ohio.
it's true. There's nothing. You know.
So what kind of hobbies do you guys do outside of church? Like, do y'all do anything?
Let me
Work
guess. You're a
out.
reader. Oh, are you a reader?
I just recently became a reader.
Okay.
Yeah.
all
Proud
my
of myself.
all my friends read, but me. I feel like a loser. Like, they're like reading's cool.
I'm like,
They're
sound
it's
it
not,
out, Crystal.
They're like it's not nerdy anymore. I'm like I get like we went and saw it. This ends with us.
Yeah.
And they
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
wait to go see it. And I was like, I haven't read the book. They're like, oh my God. So like the whole time during the movie, they're sitting there like, oh God, like they left this out. They left this out.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all, I'm sitting there trying
I'm like,
to watch
it's not a
the movie.
6-hour movie. You can't
I know, exactly.
do it.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
do it.
Right.
But so I
exact
borrowed a book from a
adaptation
friend and
book.
I have yet to read it. It's been
man.
sitting on my counter. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try.
What are you reading right now?
What's it called? Why can't Court of Thorns and Roses or something?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
It's a whole series.
Yeah, I think that's what my friend.
I read the
Lauren-
Twilight
I
series.
think that's what my friend
Oh, did
Lauren's
you?
reading right now.
I read Harry Potter.
But I started. The first book I just wanted to watch the movie. It was the Crawdads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where the crawdad,
Yeah.
where the
That's
crawdads
at
sing.
Louisiana. They shot that in Louisiana. Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
truly,
I seriously
like-
think my friend's reading those series 'cause it sounds very familiar.
Yeah. I mostly just read because I'm old and it like puts me to sleep.
Okay.
There you go.
See, that's
Yeah.
what my thing is. Like, that would be my time. Like, I have time during the day to
Yeah.
read, but I don't want that. I have to do other things. So, like at
Yes.
night, if I'm
Yeah.
going to read, I might read a couple pages and be out. So, what's the point?
Yeah, I
and I
know.
might forget what I read and I have to go back and start.
Yes.
That's what she used to do. Audible.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I do need
Yeah.
to do Audible. I know that way while I'm cleaning and stuff, I can listen.
I used to,
Yeah.
when I had one job where I was flying all over the place. I would read on planes, so I would read a lot, man. I
did.
like biographies. I read about
Oh, cool.
sports and like musicians and
He read all the
That's-
Twilight books when it was hip.
I know.
Oh
dude.
yeah.
I do. I have
Oh
to.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'd be laying in bed reading. I'm like, oh, dude.
Yeah, I'm like-
Team
Oh.
Edward. I'd change to Team Jacob the next day.
Oh really? Yeah. I got into a Harry Potter series. It's
Really?
like, yeah, I got really
We
into
never
that.
watched that.
Yeah.
Never
it
seen
was
it.
good. My hobbies though is
Yeah.
working out,
I would say
CrossFit.
not so much reading. I mean, I do, but like, yeah, I think working out is our,
Just having time to yourself,
Yeah.
that's like a stress reliever. Like,
Yeah.
like I get so selfish whenever like I don't have time, like, when something else gets in the way,
Yeah, you got to. Yeah,
She'll ditch something to go work out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to work on yourself, though.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Oh man.
it's yeah, it's everything to us. Eating, but we work out so we can eat.
That's it.
Yeah.
So those are our hobbies.
Yeah. Yeah. No sport. No, not just CrossFit, and that's it.
Yeah,
You know,
good
running.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah, hanging out with our pug Reggie. That's my hobby.
Oh yeah.
I like pugs. Pugs are cool.
Oh, pugs are best dog ever.
Reggie's a sweet name for a pug, too.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Reggie.
Yeah.
Reg.
But yeah, I don't know. You know, I'm not a golfer. I wish I was, but you're gonna need to teach me.
Well, go, man.
You know, you're gonna need to teach because I'm the guy that people watch and they have to stop the lawnmower. The guy mowing the lawn are like they're like offended at my golf game. So yeah, you're gonna need to help me for
We
sure.
can do it.
Or your daughter. You know.
Yep, she
You know.
plays.
Yeah, because they would all go. We would go as a family, and so y'all would always ask me like, "You want to shoot?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm left-handed. They're all right-handed, but first of all, I don't know which way I'd go because I can do it."
She'll know
left
she's
and I
left to
can-
right, honestly.
Because
You play golf?
No, I mean no. But I'm saying
One
like
more
I'll
stop for
try.
her,
I'll
too.
try to swing because they're all right-handed clubs, but then I'll do left-handed, and sometimes I'm better at the right-handed. I don't know.
It's quite a feat to watch. I got video. I'll
and
show you.
And I spin.
Yeah, it's she's gonna hurt herself. It's like Elaine dancing on Seinfeld. Like,
Like I'm literally going to pull something because I swing so hard. I spin around.
You're like the Australian dancer from the
Yeah.
Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ray gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to ask your question?
Yeah, so the last question I'm going to ask is what is y'all's number one marriage advice?
Forgive quickly.
Forgive quickly.
Forgive quickly. Don't hold on to a grudge. Don't allow negative thinking towards your spouse. You know, because as women, you can think all day like, "Oh, he didn't do that. Oh, he."
Something simple.
I would just say silence that voice and forgive quickly.
Yeah.
That's my advice. What's yours?
That's
I
good.
took
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah. I would say, I don't know, maybe this is more recent, but like
Yeah.
always, I think it's like everyone wants to be understood, right? So anytime we've had an agreement, I'm like, understand me, right? You don't understand me. And like, I've just learned like,
Is it yes or no? Does she
Yeah.
have to say you're right or yes or something?
Well, like it's more like I want you to understand where I'm coming from, and once you understand where I'm coming from, then we can have a conversation. But I've learned like stop trying to make her understand me, and I'm going to spend time understanding her, and that's really helped me. Like if I understand her, then I'm going to find understanding. And she'll understand me because I'm trying to, right? And
Instead of
so,
projecting.
yeah. So like understanding where she's coming from, understanding what her week looked like, understanding what, right? Like, and when I understand her, I actually know how, right? So like whenever I walk into any like department store I go into, I'm like, I always tell the kids, think about mom. Think about mom, right? I'm not there for me. Anywhere I go, I'm there for me, but I'm also understanding her. And what, right? And so like always thinking her first has really helped me a lot because I'm always like, well, when is she going to do that? Right? Maybe when I was more mature, but like what's really helped, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a motto we say is, "Who can outserve each? Try to outserve each other." You know what I mean? I'm going to outserve you. I'm going to do more for you, and then it just becomes this like back and forth. Like he's serving me, I'm serving him. I think love languages is a huge thing too.
Yeah.
Understanding your love language. His is words of affirmation, physical touch. Mine's acts of service. And
Every man's is physical touch,
Yeah.
by the way.
Physical touch.
That's Dale's. What was mine?
Affirmation.
Shoot, I don't know.
even-
I can't
Words of
remember.
affirmation.
Like that was the same thing. Even for me, in the work setting, like I always talk to people. Like we interview people. Like I want to make a lot of money. I'm like, okay, but my biggest driver was always like the attaboys and knowing I did good. I was like, if I do good and they saw that, the money comes. That's why I try to tell people. I was like, so I was always like, I wanted to know that I'm doing a good job, and I like. I always share my wins with our team and my owner and my counterpart. We're the same way. That's my driver. I think that's a big part of the.
Yeah.
Word for
Yeah.
affirmation, and obviously the physical touch. I mean, that's just like I said. Yeah, you're a man. I mean,
You're every man. I don't know what
I don't
man.
know what mine was. Surprises, whatever. I don't know.
Gifts.
Yeah.
Quality time.
I do surprise her with gifts all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think it's just like with most couples and us too. It's like sometimes you're waiting on someone to behave for you to become, right? And it's like, no, like I'm not going to wait until you behave a particular way. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's just you got to stop thinking about yourself. Like that's the big stop. You'll get what you want if you start serving them.
Yeah, I mean this is all like new to us, honestly. Right within the past few years of our marriage, like I mean, we don't have it all figured out, but like like I noticed a change in you, like just and then I respond. I'm just gonna say it. I think sex is really important.
Oh yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, and like a lot of times, like people will weaponize sex, like, oh well.
Yeah, I know.
And again, I see it in the church all the time. It's like, I'll sit down with couples and we'll be like, okay, well, when's the last time you had sex? So like 6 months. I'm like, okay, number one.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, that's not good.
Right? I've heard it described like, think about it. He's in a desert and you're the only one that can give him a drink of water.
Yeah.
Right? Or he's gonna try to
Yeah.
So it's like if you don't understand that, right? And so sometimes we're just like, I will literally
make it a priority. You know what I mean? You just have to. I mean, God's word's clear that it is God's design, is God's thing, and nothing will unify a couple more than that. And so I think making it a priority is the greatest thing you can do to fight for your marriage.
Yeah.
At whatever cost it takes, figure it out. Because it will keep you together. It will keep you strong.
It's a supernatural thing, right?
Yep.
We got no problem in that department.
Yeah, it's spiritual. I mean, it is. It's sex is spiritual, and like it's so funny. We'll sit down with couples, and I'm like, I'll listen to them, and they're like, he said, she said, he did, they always, they never, and I'm like, okay, y'all just need to go have sex.
Yeah.
And they're like, the guy's like,
hell yeah.
I love this pastor. I love this church. You're
There's
right.
times on our podcast we made Magnus uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do solos and stuff
We'll
like
do
that.
solos and he's just sitting in the background.
We had marriage counselor on too. We talked about that. She talked about
Yeah.
people that come in and the same kind of things.
Right.
That's a big part of it.
Oh man, terrible. And then we're just so we make it a priority.
Yeah, and it's like I like if he makes me mad or whatever. It's not my job to punish him. It's like we don't. It's not our job to punish each other. Like like you didn't treat me right, so I'm gonna ignore you or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I might be guilty of that.
Yeah.
He's like, I know. He's like, I know what you're doing. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know.
I'm not saying we have it all together. It's just things we try to work on.
Well, and very similar to you guys. Like I can't stand because that's our way to punish each other. We just won't talk to each other. And so like I know we're like,
no, it doesn't last long.
After 24 hours, we're like,
so
all right.
awkward. It's awful.
No, we don't even laugh.
silent.
Like it's like maybe 10, 15 minutes
Yes.
later. It's
Yeah.
I can't handle it. I can't stand
It
it.
sucks.
Yeah.
I like to talk, so I got to get it out. Too,
Oh yeah. Because my way, I'm like, I'm just not gonna entertain you with my presence. I'm not gonna speak.
Yeah. You're missing out.
I'm like, thank God. He's quiet.
It's been so nice.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that definitely is like, yeah, do not let that go. I mean, obviously people have surgeries and where you can't, but like, again, like if you ignore that, it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's true, man.
it's so simple, but
I think marriage is easier than people make it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
We've
been together 22 years, man. It's been great. We never had any breakups, never had any time apart. Like
Yep.
we've always just been loving each other, and we've had a good relationship. And we love being with our kids. We like our time away. We love being with our kids and our family.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's like, man, it's been great. Like I have buddies that go through divorces and things like that, and I'm like, I can tell you what I do and how we do, but like until you're in that situation, you don't know what you're gonna handle that. I was like, but I have a good marriage and a good relationship with Crystal, so it's tough. It's tough to talk to those things when you don't know what to say. You're like, man, I don't know.
I'm just like, go seek counseling, get help. I'm like, I don't know. This is what you're supposed to tell me.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I know.
No, what is it? I heard a pastor say one time, he said, most people have a good memory, but great marriages have to have a good forgettery. Like most people just their issue is you just won't let it go.
Yeah.
My God, just move on.
Yeah,
you have to do it. But people have their forgiver is broken, and they will not, forgive, and they need to. They're in their own prison cell, and I'm not being in a prison cell. I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming on,
Yes,
man.
Oh
thanks for
man,
coming
thank
on. It
you,
was
man.
fun.
It was a
Yeah,
blast.
Thank you guys. It
Yeah.
was so fun.
Conversation.
This is fun. Yep.
I'm glad it wasn't like boring because it's the preacher, it's the pastor.
No,
I know.
Boring
Yeah, we're not.
episode.
We always have fun.
We
Yeah.
became good friends, so it's easy. Like,
Yeah,
so
absolutely, yeah.
Just talking.
Yeah, I love it.
Nothing
Yeah,
formal.
we feel honored, man. We love it.
Yeah.
We love what you guys are doing, and it's amazing. You guys are affecting a lot of people around the nation, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch. Both of you
Very cool.
together
It's fun.
doing
Yeah,
this.
it's
the
fun.
comments and people were like, "That's what's cool." We get people messages like, "Oh man, me and my wife, we watched this together, and we laugh." And,
Nice.
like, that's fun to hear.
Yeah,
because-
I almost think that like we say like this is our therapy. Like this is time we can actually talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
versus-
cool.
We talk more raw. On, like when we
Yeah.
have me and her talking, just
Yeah.
when we do solos,
Yeah,
like we'll talk about some things we probably just wouldn't sit down and intentionally talk about.
And then I'll leave afterwards. I'm like, are you?
yeah,
Oh, you got
No,
me
but-
hot.
yeah, but I mean, it's just it's kind of been working for us,
yeah,
Yeah.
But people want to hear real raw
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
I mean,
right.
we,
That's right.
we put it all out there. I'm not
yeah.
sugarcoating
Yep.
anything or.
Yep.
We guys are helping
Yeah.
thousands of people,
Yeah. Yeah.
all over the nation. So
Well, like I said, this was episode 30. Thank y'all.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
Matt
you.
and Kate,
Thank
this
you
has been a good
thank
time.
you.
Wasn't too bad, huh?
No, it was
All
fun.
right.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I loved it.
Well, that's it.